السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن
بسم الله.
الرحيم. قال: ولا تصح المزارعة إلا على مدة معلومة لما بينا، وأن يكون الخارج شائعا بينهما تحقيقا لمعنى الشركة، فإن شرط لأحدهما قرصانا مسماة فهي باطلة، لأن به قد تنقطع تنقطع الشركة، لأن الأرض عساها لا تخرج إلا هذا القدر، فصار كالشطرات دراهم معدودة لأحدهما في المضاربة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بمعرفتك، واشرح صدورنا بنور كتابك وسنة نبيك، واحفظنا عن زلل وخطأ في بيان مرادك. In another condition of we continue with Muzara'a, we're busy with some of the conditions of Muzara'a and which forms of Muzara'a will be allowed and which forms will be fasid. So we mentioned 3 forms of which is permissible and 4 so that is not permissible. Last ولا تصح المزارعة على مدة معلومة لبينا. Muzara will not be correct except upon a stipulated period of time. لما بينا, but we explained previously that because this is a sharika, this is a partnership of benefit manafi, which doesn't have any physical presence. So the only way to measure that benefit is through time. The only way we can measure that manfa is through time. Time becomes a mi'yar of the manfa. Otherwise, there's no way we can actually discern, or there's no way we can actually confine what benefit we're getting out of it. So, وأن يكون الخارج شائعا بينهما تحقيقا لمعنى شركة, and also that the produce, the kharij, must be shared between them shai'an, in an unspecified amount, meaning that you will give a percentage or a fraction. You can't mention a specific amount. You can't say on the condition that 1 ton belongs to me. As in, you can't say that on the condition that I get, for example, 100,000 rands and the balance is yours. You can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because we don't know how much crops is going to come out. We don't know how much we're going to receive for that produce. So what if the land only produces 1 ton or less? That means that the other partner won't get anything. Okay? What if we only manage to get a profit of the amount stipulated or less, then, or a little bit more? So then it's not fair upon the other person. So because we cannot say specifically, or we cannot we don't know exactly how much crops are going to grow. Yes, obviously we're putting so much crops and we expect X amount, but as you know, in farming, anything can happen. The crops don't grow, or there's a flood, or there's the bad season, or the rain didn't come on time, or whatever. So as a result of which, you don't always achieve the amount that you place into the land. So because of that, you cannot give a specific amount. It must be shy, it must be unspecified. There's 60% to me and 40% to you. Then, or 3/4 to me and 1/4 to you. So irrespective of how much comes, a little or less, that person will get 60% of whatever is produced, and the other person will get 40% of whatever is produced, regardless of how much or how little comes out. Why? تحقيقا لمعنى شركة, in order to establish the meaning of partnership. Otherwise, there is no partnership, as I just explained now. Understood that?
Good.
So now obviously فإن شرطا لأحدهما قفزانا مسمى فهي باطل. So if they specify for one of the two partners, for one of the two individuals, قفزانا مسمى, قفزان is the plural of قفيز, which are the unit of measurement in those times. So if they have to specify, so even if the other person agrees, by saying شرطا, it doesn't matter if they mutually agree to this, it's still fasid. So even if they mutually agree that one of them will receive a specific weight of produce, فهي باطلة, then this is invalid. لأن به تنقطع الشركة, because in this manner the sharika will become null and void. There won't be any partnership. Then, what's the word this? I can't read that.
لأن به قد تنقطع الشركة.
No, after that.
لأن الأرض عساها لا تخرج إلا هذا
لأن
القدر.
الأرض, okay. My copy is quite bad. لأن الأرض عساها لا تخرج إلا هذا القدر, because it's possible that the earth doesn't produce except this amount. So then what happens to the other guy? He's made all the effort for nothing. وصار كاشتراط دراهم معدودة لأحدهما في المضاربة. So as we've explained many times, there's many comparisons between مضاربة and this. So in the same way, in مضاربة, you can't stipulate a specific amount of profit. Then you have to mention it unspecified, a particular fraction or particular percentage. You can't stipulate a specific amount that I want 20,000 profit or I want 50,000. So it will be like how if they stipulate specific amount of money for one of them in a transaction مضاربة, so just like how that مضاربة will be invalid. Same thing here with مزارعة for the same reason. وكذا إذا شرطا أن يرفع صاحب البذر بذره ويكون الباقي بينهما نصفين. And the same thing will apply if they mutually agree, mutually make this condition that the person who supply the seeds, that he be allowed to remove the produce of his seeds first, and then whatever is the remainder will be shared between them half. This also will not be accepted for the same reason. لأنه يؤدي إلى قطع الشركة, because this will lead to a nullification of the partnership في بعد معين in a specific amount, أو في جميع, or in all of it if that's the only amount that comes out. بأن لم يخرج إلا قدر البذر, by in this way that only that amount is produced which is equivalent to the amount of seeds that he supplied. فصار كما إذا شرطا رفع الخراج والأرض خراجية وإن يكون الباقي بينهما. So this will be like if they have to stipulate that they will minus the kharaj. Kharaj is the land tax. Well, not land tax, the amount you pay to the tax, perhaps not the correct word, the land zakat that you have to pay to the Islamic state. If the land is, well, ardu kharajiya, if the land is a kharaji earth. Okay? And thereafter, whatever remains is split between them. So just like that, I will not be allowed that you must pay the kharaj. Okay? And then I will pay the kharaj first, and then we'll split the rest. So that also won't be correct. بخلاف ما إذا شرط صاحب البذر أشر الخارج لنفسه أو لآخر والباقي بينهما. Contrary to if the owner of the seed stipulates that he will pay the ushar of the produce himself, or he says that you will pay the ushar, and the rest is between us. This will be permissible. Why will this be permissible? لأن معين مشاع, because it is a specified amount that is given not according to a specific amount, but according to a fraction, which is 1/10. And the ushar, as the name suggests, you have to give 1/10 of the produce. So irrespective of how much or how little you produce, you just give 1/10. So because this is a fraction or a percentage that doesn't amount to any specific amount, understand? So therefore, that will be permissible in the kharaj. Because kharaj is normally paid in money, according to what the produces. Okay. It's unknown. فلا يؤدي إلى قطع شركة. So this will not lead to a nullification or of the partnership. كما إذا شرطا رفع الأشر وقسمة الباقي بينهما والعود أشرية. Similarly, if they were to make it conditional, that they will first remove the ushr, pay the ushr, and to divide the remainder amongst them, or to share the remainder amongst them, while the earth is an ushri land, just like how that is permissible. وكذلك إن شرطا ما على الماذيانات والسواكي معناه لأحدهما. So similarly, madhiyanat refers to a specific, what you call, a specific place. So the madhiyanat refers to that area of the farm which is close to the water, and close to the running water, that section. Okay, and the sawaki, which is the plural of saqiya, is that which is close to what you call near to like a well, watering well. Okay. In other words, in simple terms, if a person has stipulated he wants the produce from this particular section, that's what he's saying. That's the meaning of the masala. And I want the produce that comes out from this particular section will not be allowed. Because what if that is the only piece that produces crops? Understood? And then the other guy gets nothing. Now, obviously, this is now we're dealing on when we're talking about these masala, as you can see, this is realities. It's not ifs and buts. These are things that can happen and do happen in farming. Yes, Allah Ta'ala is there, obviously, and dua and everything that's on its place. But here we're talking about practicality. Understand? From a normal point of view, from how the Darul Asbab works. So that's what we're basing it on. Obviously, Allah Ta'ala is Qadir wa ala kulli shayin. Obviously, all of those things are in its place. No one is denying that. لأنه إذا شرط لأحدهما زرع موضع معين أفضل ذلك لقطع شركة. Because if it has to be stipulated for one of them, the produce of a specific place, then that this particular area is mine. This will lead to the partnership being nullified. لأنه, again for the same reason, لعله لا يخرج إلا من ذلك الموضع. Because it's possible that it will not produce anything except in that particular place. So only one of them will have benefited from the partnership and the other guy will be left with nothing. وعلى هذا, and based upon the same principle, إذا شرط لأحدهما أو شرط لأحدهما ما يخرج من ناحية معينة ولآخر ما يخرج من ناحية أخرى. And again the same thing. So, and if it is separated for one of them, then what is produced from one particular corner, and for the others what produced from a different corner or a different part, same masala. وكذا إذا شرط لأحدهما التبن والآخر الحب. And similarly, if it has been stipulated that the tiban, meaning the stalk, the flower, the plant itself, will belong to one person, and the grains in that flower will belong to another person, and that's also not valid. لأنه عسى يصيب آفة فلا يأكل الحب. Because it's possible that some afat, some catastrophe afflicts the crops. As a result, no grains comes out. Only the stalks and the flower comes out. And the stalks and the shoots come out. But there's no grains. وَلَا يَخْرُجُ إِلَّا تِبْنُ. Or it's possible that only, and nothing else but the stalks, nothing else but the flower, the shoots come out. Can you follow?
Okay.
وكذا إذا شرط لأحدهما التبن نصفين والحب لأحدهما. And similarly, if they were to make it conditional, that the flower, the stalks, the shoots will be split half, and the grains will belong to one of them only, specifically. Understand? That's also not be permissible. لأنه يؤدي إلى قطع الشركات, because again, this will lead to invalidation of the partnership فيما هو المقصود, in that thing which is the whole purpose of growing the crop, which is the grain. And so, for example, you grow wheat, so you get the flour, the milling comes out from the seeds. The rest of it gets thrown away. Okay? The seeds is the main part that is crushed, and from there you get your flour to make your dough and your bread and whatever else. So that is the whole purpose of the plant, the shoots and the stalks itself. There's no use for that. That's normally given as a feed for the cattle or whatever. There's no other use for it. The main thing is the hub is the seeds, in that all the barley seeds or whatever else, right? Whatever other thing that grows seeds. You follow?
Yeah.
ولو شرطا الحب نصفين, and if they have to stipulate and make it conditional that the seeds will be half. ولم يتعرضا للتبن صحت. However, they don't mention anything about the stalks of the flower. Understand? Then صحت, the shoots, then this will be permissible. لاشتراط ما شرك فيما هو المقصود. Why? Because they reached a stipulation, or they stipulated partnership in that which is the whole purpose of that crops, which is the grains. Okay, now what happens into the shoots? ثم التبن يكون لصاحب البذر. They say the stalks or the shoots, they will belong to whoever supplied the seed. لأنه نماء ملكي. Why? Because that is the growth of his ownership. It's the growth from the seed, so it belongs to him. وفي حقه لا يحتاج إلى شرط. So with regards to it, it's not necessary to place this as a shart, as a condition. والمفسد هو الشرط. So the thing that made the previous masala fasid was the shart, to stipulate that it belongs to a specific person. That makes it fasid. If we don't stipulate that, it automatically goes into that person. Whoever produced the seed automatically goes into his ownership. So it's to stipulate it is what makes it fasid. وهذا سكوت عن whether in this masala it wasn't mentioned, and they didn't say who it will go to, so therefore it will be correct. وقال مشايخ بلخ رحمه الله تعالى التبن بينهما. The ulama of Balkh رحمه الله تعالى, they say that the tibn goes to ish or be shared between them. This is their fatwa. Nisfain, and half. Sorry, no, tibn بينهما. Where is it? التبن بينهما أيضا اعتبار العرف, taking into consideration urf. They say urf, when we say that this crop is going to be shared half, it means the seed plus the flower. Perhaps in that particular area, that's how they dealt with that masala. So there are three schools amongst the Hanafis. There's the Iraqi school, then there's the area in between, and then there's the Bukhara, Mawara and al-Bukhara in those areas. And normally the area in between is referred to as Samarkand. So Iraq, Samarkand, and then Bukhara, Mawara and Nahar. Beyond, which is known as Transaxiana. Okay? Transaxiana, Bukhara, not Bukhara, yeah, Bukhara in all those areas there. And Shash and all those areas. So these ulama also, their fatwas have carried a lot of weight. So anyway, the ulama from that particular area, they say no, in this matter, the fatwa is to also be half, because that's how it works in urf. When you say half of the seeds, it means the seeds plus the shoot in which it's in. Understood?
This is Iraqi, Samarkand,
And Balkh. And Samarkand. Samarkand and Mawara an-Nahar. Beyond the river. The literal translation means beyond the river. It refers to the river Oxus. If you look on the map, you will just find the river Oxus. Then Transaxiana means beyond the river. And all the Muslim countries beyond that particular river. OXUS. And it's beyond the river Oxus. In English, you just say Transaxian. Trans meaning beyond. Oxiana meaning yonder of axis. للعرف فيما لم ينص عليه المتعاقدان. In those مسائل, in those instances that the two transactors did not specify anything, did not clearly mention anything. We turn to عرف to decide how that gets split. ولأنه تابع للحب والتابع يقوم بشرط الأصل. And also because it is a تبع, it is a follower, it is a produce of the seeds, and what is a follower, whatever is a product of something, it is automatically conditioned to the thing from which it's produced. It's the asl from which it comes. Okay, understood? Anything you didn't understand? Any questions?
نعم. الحمد لله understood تماما.
Okay, inshallah. So سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.